As I boarded the vessel on that bitterly cold night in Cape Town, I never for a moment thought what I was getting myself into and just how my life would change. Admiral Abrahams gave me a short and vague briefing about the USS Anchorage docking in our port. It was a Sunday evening, which was very unusual as we knew exactly which vessels were coming and going from Antarctica, yet we received no word about the USS Anchorage. In fact, as far as we were concerned, that ship did not exist. The Admiral mentioned that the crew was extremely distressed, some showing signs of mental degradation. The captain was missing and only 5 crew members remained out of a number we still can't pinpoint to this day. We were all in shock at the state of the remaining crew, and naturally we wanted to know what the hell happened to the Americans. As I approached Vanessa Ramirez, the geologist, she was hesitant at first but seemed relieved to see other people. I asked her, "What happened to you and your crew, Professor?" She did not answer at first but stared at me blankly. I asked her a second time whilst she sat sipping on a hot cup of coffee wrapped in a blanket. She threw the blanket off her, grabbed my shirt and pulled me in so close we were almost nose to nose. I'll never forget the fear in her voice when she said, "Do not go there. They are pure evil. Do not go there." A few soldiers had to pull Ramirez off me as she was getting quite agitated by just mentioning the word they. I told her to calm down, "Everything's okay now, you're safe." That's when she looked at me and said, "As long as they are still alive, none of us are safe, Captain." I was growing impatient at this point and I demanded to know what she was talking about. Ramirez with a sigh sat down and started to explain everything. These are her accounts of what happened in Antarctica. "Well, Captain, we are, and some of us were, geologists and scientists. May God rest their souls. A geothermal anomaly was detected a few hundred miles from McMurdo Station. Due to the anomaly being so far from the station, it was in an area geographically that had never been explored on foot. The anomaly itself was an extremely high thermal heat signature coming from some kind of mound or hill. For some reason, that specific area is always so damn windy it's very hard to see. A group of about 20 highly skilled people in their fields, including myself, were tasked with going to Antarctica via the USS Anchorage to investigate the anomaly. We made land in northern regions and made plans to trek by snowmobile to the anomaly. Although it was extremely dangerous to not be near McMurdo Station or any station. The higher-ups did want anyone to know what we were doing there. The journey began on Wednesday morning. We gathered all of our supplies and set off. Many innocent souls did not know they will never return. As we plowed through the snowy tundra, we made good progress due to the good weather. We set up camp at sundown and we were expected to reach the anomaly by mid-morning tomorrow. A colleague of mine, Michael Giovanni, a Catholic, mentioned to me and a few of us that he has a terrible feeling about what we're doing. He said, "Ramirez, I can sense an extremely evil presence and I don't like it." Mustafa Jamal, an Iraqi American, confirmed what Michael said. "I agree with you, Michael. I've also got this horrible feeling in my gut that we should not be here." The rest of the crew laughed it off, claiming religious superstition, as most of the crew was atheist. Jamal and Giovanni's warnings fell on deaf ears and we went to bed early, not knowing what tomorrow hold. As we rode on the unforgiving Antarctic terrain, making our way closer and closer to the anomaly, Mustafa shouted, "We're about to make contact." Out of nowhere, a large triangular-shaped structure appeared in the distance. As we got closer, we realized that this was not a natural geographic structure. It looked like a pyramid that was covered in snow. The snow hid its geometric shape from a distance, but as we made contact with the anomaly, got off our snowmobiles, our suspicions were true. It was indeed a pyramid that was equivalent in height to a 10-story building. We were absolutely dumbfounded. How is this possible? The team set up camp next to pyramid. Tents erect and equipment out ready to investigate. As the head geologist, I wanted to collect rock samples immediately. 3 of us, including myself and Giovanni, took shovels and started moving the snow out of the way so we could get to the rock. As we dug, I hit something hard. Brushing the snow off, I realized that this was not breaking apart like any normal rock would. It was much harder. Upon closer inspection, I realized it was metal. We were dumbfounded. What the hell is this thing? I happened to pack a metal detector and walked around the perimeter of the pyramid. I only got a metallic signal at one face but not the other 3. I asked Giovanni, why does only one side of the pyramid have this metal? He said because someone made it that way. Impossible. I said there's no record of any civilization in Antarctica. We need to move more snow off this area and see exactly what we're dealing with. The whole crew was now curious to what I discovered, so everyone helped remove as much snow as possible. We knew what we were unearthing. We just didn't want to accept it. Finally, after a few hours moving snow, a massive metal door about 3 meters in height and 3 meters in width was unveiled. As if that wasn't creepy enough, there was some kind of ancient language inscribed on the door. No one could identify it. It looked like a mix between Sanskrit and Arabic. Mustafa, who was also a geologist and our navigations guy, took thermal readings of the pyramid, and sure enough, the geothermal anomaly was coming from behind the door specifically. The captain said we have to open the door and investigate. At this point, everyone started to snap out of it, as what was happening was seriously flying over our heads. Giovanni said, "With all due respect, Captain, I'm not opening that fucking door. God knows what kind of evil is lurking behind that thing." The crew mocked Giovanni and Mustafa the previous day, but now they were siding with them. I really wanted to know what was behind that door, so I sided with the captain. If only I just listened to Mustafa and Giovanni. The captain firmly stated that we were ordered by the United States military to investigate this anomaly, and that is exactly what we will do. Reluctantly, the crew had to oblige, as this was an extremely important expedition for everyone's career and no one wanted to mess up. We had the perfect equipment for any situation, and this was a government op after all. Plasma cutters were ready for use. I can't stop thinking about every horror movie I've seen telling me this is a bad idea. I just told myself, tomorrow we will find out what's behind that fucking door. The curiosity was just too much to bear. Little did I know we did not have to wait until tomorrow to find out. It might have been around 4 a.m. It was still pretty bright outside, as we were in almost 24-hour sunlight days at the South Pole. I heard this blood-curdling desperate scream coming from outside. It frightened all of us and we all woke up to see what the hell happened. The tent closest to the metal door was literally gone. No tracks, no nothing. Giovanni was in that tent along with another crew member. Upon further inspection of the scene out of the corner of my eye, I noticed something about the door. It was wide open. I swear to God it opened up. Who could have done this when we were all asleep? There was no time to think as we had to find our missing crew. That begs the question. Who is going inside that pyramid? The captain, myself and Mustafa volunteered to go on the search party as no one else wanted to, understandably. Whilst the rest stayed outside to track us and guide us. We suited up, the captain and Mustafa armed and myself with medical supplies and a thermal camera. Everyone was throwing random ideas about what happened from polar bears to aliens. We had no damn time for that now, this isn't a movie. We need to find our crew. Thinking back now, I wish it was aliens or a damn fucking polar bear. The three of us turned our GoPros on and started making our way to the entrance of the door. It was pitch black. "Here we go," said the captain. As we walked in, we expected to go in the pyramid itself, but we actually started walking down on stairs which took us further beneath the pyramid. Our flashlights were bright enough to see most of the details of the steps, and I can tell you one thing. It was definitely man-made. Stairs don't just form magically. The more we descended, the darker it got, and the silence was terrifying. Mustafa was in front of me and the captain was behind me. I say was for a reason. I turned around and the captain was gone. "Captain, where are you?" I said. I heard a screeching noise which sounded like a person gasping for breath. We both pointed out flashlights everywhere trying to find the captain, screaming his name. That's when I saw it crawling above us. The most horrifying, demonic-looking creature I've ever seen, fangs like a vampire and claws like jaguar. I realized that it was carrying the captain's severed head in its claws. I screamed, "Holy fucking shit," and told Mustafa to run. We couldn't go back, so we had to go deeper into the pyramid. At this point we were miles underground and I could hear the creature following us but not trying to kill us, almost like it wanted us to go deeper. The creature had the lower body of a goat and the upper body of a human with an almost feline-looking face. A typical image of what you see Satan depicted as. Mustafa and myself noticed light coming up in front of us. Getting closer, we noticed that it was actually a lit torch, medieval style. And it kept going, there were more. We followed the now well-lit path and it led us to this huge, open cavern. Everything was lit up as if we're on the surface, and I still don't understand how. That's when we heard this distinct sound. The sound of chains moving. We thought it might be Giovanni and his tent mate. We walked up slowly only to find this huge man with wide shoulders and thick curly hair. He was looking down, breathing heavily, and all four limbs were chained to the rock. Almost like someone imprisoned him, and a few of those creatures were beside him feasting on the corpses of Giovanni and the captain. Intestines were on the floor, skulls cracked open and blood everywhere. It was fucking disgusting. I screamed, which caused the creatures and the man to look up immediately. The creatures did not attack and seemed to be influenced by the man. He said in perfect English, "Do not run if you wish to live humans." Although we were both shitting ourselves, Mustafa had the courage to ask him, "Who are you? Why have you murdered our friends?" The man laughed and said, "My minions were hungry." We again asked him, "Why are you doing this? Who are you? Let us go." He just laughed and said, "I see you humans are still as pathetic as I remember. Answer me this, human. Has the one you call Moses come?" Mustafa replied, "Yes." "Has the one you call the Israelite son of Mary come?" Mustafa replied, "He has come." "Has the Ishmaelite prophet Muhammad come?" Mustafa replied, "Yes." The man replied, "If what you say is true, Assyrian, my time to be released is soon," as he said in a condescending way. Mustafa whispered to me, "How did he know I have Assyrian lineage? It's not possible for him to know." Mustafa asked, "We still don't know who or what you are." The man replied, "Fools! You will know soon enough. I am what you humans call the Antichrist. My creator will release me soon, and I will rule this planet. Since you two brought my minions nourishment, I will tell you this: follow the teachings of the Ishmaelite prophet born in Mecca, follow the Israelite son of Mary when he returns, as he will destroy me and bring balance to this world. Now leave, and never return here. I will let you two live, but my minions will kill whomsoever they wish," he said arrogantly. We wasted no time and got the fuck out of there. As we ran up the stairs and finally reached the surface, it was too late. The demonic creatures had already killed so many and were feasting on their bodies like maggots on rotting meat. Mustafa screamed, "We have to get back to the ship." We just got onto the snowmobiles and went full speed back to the ship, leaving everything behind. Not much happened after that. Although we were extremely traumatized and on the verge of hypothermia, we made to the ship and the nearest port was Cape Town. Mustafa, now taking the captain's place, put us on course to South Africa, and here I am speaking to you right now.